In 2004, the Boston Red Sox shattered the infamous curse of the Bambino, winning the World Series after an 86-year drought. What were the origins of this story that brought about the breaking of the so-called curse? The sale of a baseball legend, Babe Ruth, to the New York Yankees way back in 1919 changed both franchises forever, as well as the game. George Herman Ruth began his career as a pitcher with the Red Sox, but it was his transition to a power hitter that revolutionized the game. Many believe that Ruth was sold to the Yankees, so that Red Sox owner, theater producer Harry Frazee, could pay off debts from a combination of theater production and poor attendance at Fenway Park. That is partially true, but the truth is when the deal took place, Ruth was not the home run slugging legend he is thought of today. In fact, the 1918 World Series, that last Red Sox victory for quite a while, was also the last in which neither team hit a home run the entire series. Home runs were not thought of or valued as they are in today's game. So while Frazee was having some financial hiccups, he was also trying to re-sign his star player, while also dealing with his constant off-field escapades and questionable attitude. In fact, at one point during negotiations, Ruth threatened to leave baseball and become a professional fighter. But that isn't meant to let the Red Sox off the hook, even in the deadball era. And despite his off-field reputation, Ruth was widely considered the best player in the game. As a young player, Ruth's talent was evident. As was his size, he was a giant of a man for the time. 6'2" and over 200 pounds when the average American man was around 5'7" and roughly 140 pounds. He started his career on the mound, where he demonstrated exceptional skills. The year was 1919, and the Red Sox's owner was in a bit of a financial pickle. Frazee was a theatrical producer by trade, and his ventures in Broadway were not proving as profitable as he had hoped. His monetary woes were further compounded by the substantial salary demands of his star player, Babe Ruth, who was also a lot to handle off the field with his larger-than-life personality and infamous nightlife of drinking, gambling, and womanizing. It's been said he would complain when Boston would play him in the outfield because he would get bored, and he would also skip games randomly when he felt like it. Ruth ultimately wanted to focus on hitting home runs, which at the time weren't nearly as common as they are today. Boston wanted his focus on the mound where he was dominant. Power hitting wasn't nearly as prioritized as it is today, so Ruth's power was not the iconic game changer we think of now. Ruth, however, was convinced homers were his future, and he set the single-season record for homers of 29 in his last with Boston. Frazee, in a move to alleviate his financial predicament and move on from the off-field headaches, made a decision that would forever change the course of baseball history. He sold Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees for a sum of $100,000, a record-breaking amount at the time. This move not only helped Frazee keep his theater ventures afloat, but also allowed the Yankees to capitalize on Ruth's talent, his charisma, and his ability to draw crowds. But true to his reputation, Ruth skipped what would have been his first game for the Yankees to play golf instead. Ruth's transformation into a power hitter was a game-changer, literally. He brought an unprecedented level of power to the plate, setting new standards and smashing old records. He hit 54 home runs in his first season at the more slugger-friendly Polo Grounds, and 59 the following season. With every swing, he sent balls flying into the stands, drawing crowds and creating a spectacle that baseball had never seen before. His home runs were not just impressive, they were a revolution. They changed the way the game was played and viewed, and they made Ruth a superstar. The Yankees, fueled by Ruth's bat, became a dominant force. They won their first ever World Series in 1923, the same year they opened the legendary Yankee Stadium. It was quickly dubbed the house that Ruth built. Even today, decades after his final at-bat, Babe Ruth's name is synonymous with baseball. His legacy lives on in the record books, in the memories of those who witnessed his greatness, and in the hearts of baseball fans around the world. He was and remains the Sultan of Swat, the home run king, the great Bambino. In the end, this was a transformation of a game and a player who would forever hold a place in its history. The deal saw one franchise go on to win 4 World Series titles with their new star and 1 to a historic championship drought. It also kick-started one of the best rivalries in sports history and paved the way for a sports icon to flourish. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and comment below if there is a minute in sports history you would like to see next.